Let's think of a few things that confuses the emotional system and therefore lands us in a situation that is tricky. I think it's good to note at this point that you cannot trick or deregulate actually the emotional system. However, we can come to false conclusions on how we think about stuff. So something can be truly good for our health and we think it's not good for our health. Or we can find that something is great for our health and lack responsiveness in that area. This generally will point the light in a kind of reflection in the sense that why am I moving away from the thing that is healthy? Is there something missing there? Is there something that needs to be integrated? Is there a kind of support that's needed in this area? More experience, maybe. Uh, these are the kind of questions that I'd be asking in that sense. If I'm moving towards the thing that is like non-health promoting, I would say kind of what is my motivation for that? Is there something that is, or that I'm not, let's say, forgiving myself? Why would I punish myself in this way? Why does it feel appropriate to move away from health? These would be more my questions in that direction. I think ultimately we want to take the time to reflect, take some time out, and do some more research into maybe these areas of challenge or self inquiry at the very least. In gaining this new information, do we have the same affinity as we had before to this action or aversion? Do we have the aversion to this action? Probably not so much. If our research is kind of well based and some good reflection happens, we shouldn't be moving in the direction that goes away from health. It is actually where we're drawn to in the first place. I think there might be a stop on acting on it because there might be information needed to properly proceed in a healthy way down this path of health. This is possible. Often, if you don't know enough, you can find yourself in a tricky situation. Therefore, learn or learn the hard way, depending on your life experiences previous this challenge. But I think always that it's good to note that life is about experiencing stuff. So you can't really go wrong as long as you reflect on the experience and keep solving for a healthier version of yourself where you feel most um, appreciated for the values you have and have cultivated, right? So we don't want to seek praise in areas that we have not put any effort in because that just sets us up in a tough situation. Ultimately, we want to move towards our own appreciation of our values and not particularly external validation of these things. But that doesn't mean that people saying, let's say, positive things about you in this area doesn't help us understand better that this is our strength or something that we actually find interesting. Often because at the beginning of life, most of our character personality is made up from the suggestions of people outside of ourselves. We can find ourselves moving away from things that are important to us because we haven't had the feedback to support that hidden gem in us. And once we realize that this thing is hidden and it's a gem, then we cultivate it appropriately. But without somebody pointing it out, we might not be aware of it being a thing. And this is why it's so important to have social interaction. This is the combining of two, let's call it emotional environments, to point out either in contrast or in congruity the benefits of somebody's unique way of navigating life or need to improve this navigation. Ultimately, we do want to be self sufficient to a point, but not at the cost of our social abilities.